Welcome to Taking Healthy Back with Maria, with your host, Maria Malik, experience coach, conscience educator, and destination retreat host, presents to you countless ways to overcome an overwhelmed, overprocessed, and over-medicated lifestyle. She'll be covering everything wellness, from getting more from life than you put into it, destination retreats to healthy cooking, and conscious education. So please welcome the host of Taking Healthy Back with Maria.
How's it going, wellness seekers? Welcome to Taking Healthy Back with Maria. I'm your host, Maria Malik, and the purpose of this show is to help you optimize your life. And through the guests that we have here, you'll get the tool set, the mindset, and the skill set to do that and overcome lifestyle and wellness hurdles. I have a guest on today who's really a soul after my own heart. She's interested in reclaiming wellness. And our title today is Fit, Fierce, and Fearless, a Biohacker's Blueprint. And that's just fancy talk for someone who has decided to walk her own path in wellness and trying all new and exciting things to get her there. She has two movements that she's started: Biohacker Mom, the Feelin Good Mama, which is what I'm all about. And basically, her intention is the same as mine. So, Kelly Anderson, welcome. Thanks for being on the show. So happy to have you here.
Thank you so much, Maria. So happy to be here. It's a huge honor. I really appreciate it.
Now, I'm going to just start off the bat with, do you have any special certifications? Because I know you're wrapped up in your motherhood the way I was wrapped up in motherhood. And I don't have any special certification letters after my name, but everything for the past really 25, 30 years has just me immersed in health and wellness and optimizing the wellness of my family. So, do we have similar paths?
Well, I became a personal trainer and a Pilates instructor in 2006. So I started out in movement career wise. Even back before that, I've been an artist my whole life, but I started career wise as a personal trainer and a movement specialist. But along with that, was all of this other health stuff that I had actually had an interest in from like birth, I think. And so I guess I just started noticing with my clients ways that I could support them beyond just moving. And so we started getting into supplements and nutrition and just all kind of little hacks. I'm all about little hacks. And yes, I think the biohacker world is all about as many hacks as we can possibly find. And so, yes. And actually, so over COVID, I actually started Biohacker Mom, and I became so engulfed and enthralled in that work that I started kind of going a little bit nuts. And especially with COVID and all that stuff going on, I was just analyzing every single thing and just reading as much as I possibly could. And I finally had to actually take a little, I was like, I'm all about health and being healthy. And this is starting to be unhealthy.
Right.
And I did kind of find that in the biohacker world that there's a little fanaticism in that world. So I've had to kind of step back a little bit. I actually watched a little bit of a podcast yesterday, and it was a new mom, and she was all about, my kids can't have this, my kids can't have this, and this, and this. And I was that mom too. And I would still love to be that mom, But I also started noticing being so stringent was starting to become a little bit unhealthy. So for me, it's trying to find that balance where you can still like operate in the real world, but try to be as healthy as possible. And it's a real challenge.
That I don't know how old you are, but you sound like me 25 years ago. And I dove down the rabbit hole. I didn't just go down. I like ran and dove into it.
Mhm.
And it did get to an unhealthy level as well. So you're correct in dialing back, because I don't think my kids could breathe at one point, because we were like, I was so obsessive about it. But now that we know, and they call it biohacking now, but when my kids were real little, it was just called efficient. You know what I mean? Like doing everything the best that you can, and allowing the body to do what it does,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so I have a bunch of questions, and I could like continue on just as a conversation, but I have some specific questions. Um, so it wasn't any real defining moment that all of a sudden you're like, okay, it the whole, COVID season, or was there any kind of huge health challenge you or a family member had to overcome? Or you said from a kid you were interested, but
So
you've taken it to the next level.
actually, I was actually a really sickly kid. I had tons of food allergies. I had tons of just allergies in general, chronic sore throat, stuffy nose, bronchitis, chronic. And so I personally, my mom was always taking me to the doctor, and they were always putting me on antibiotics and all that
Mhm.
stuff. And as I started to get into my teens and my college years, I was like, I just don't want to be on antibiotics anymore. I'm so tired and constant inhalers and all this stuff. And so I started on a journey of first food and analyzing what I was eating, and no nothing against my mom who was feeding me. It was just the era of
Right? What they had.
drinking tons of milk and you know and lots of bread. Just all the things that just kept just continually inflaming my gut and my system. And so I started eliminating those things. I started playing around with not taking. I literally lived off of Sudafed. I think, like,
Oh, wow.
I know, it's horrible. I think I took Sudafed from, like, 2nd grade to 6th grade almost every day, and
Wow.
yeah, it's horrible, and,
So,
I just came from that culture, which so many of us do,
right.
of, just take a pill, oh, there's a pill for that." And I started to like question, how is there just a solution in pill form for almost everything? How is that? I like to look back to like Indians and
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
like ancient civilizations. They didn't have pills. And so I started kind of venturing into how were people holistically healing themselves and feeling better. And then I started really learning about how our food in modern day Western society is it's just such a mess. And it bothers me daily. I mean, it just really eats at me daily. And I'm constantly trying to analyze it. My daughter is constantly rolling her eyes. Do we have to think, do we have to talk about this? Because it goes against everything she does with her friends and what they're
Oh,
doing, and so it just always feels like an uphill battle. But that's where I had to start stepping back a little bit and being like, okay, we don't live in a perfect world. We
we
have
don't
to,
live in a bubble.
we don't
So,
live.
what are the, it sounds like the biohacking is an exciting world. So, you talked about you did some major biohacking. What exactly did you do, and how has it affected the trajectory of your idea of wellness?
I think one of the biggest things is I started drinking alkaline water. I was introduced to Kangen water,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, this sounds really cool, and I love the concept. And so I ended up buying a system, and like that's actually one thing that my daughter is like, I can't drink anything other than the water. I do think that from a health perspective, that has helped us a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We went through the whole COVID thing, not being sick at all. I think I've had like a little cold since 2019. I have
Oh,
not,
good.
and we aren't on medications. Um, so that was a big one. I take some supplements. I take some mostly anti-aging supplements. NRF2 is a big one for me. And then I just I like to try to just be as natural as possible. Not taking Tylenol
Yeah.
when I have aches and pains, trying to find other ways to alleviate pain. I'm not foolproof. I'm not 100% all the time by any means, but I'm always working on it and trying. And
So you had fitness clients. Do you still have fitness clients, or has your fitness practice turned into something else?
no,
Uh,
I still teach about 20 hours a week. And most of my people have been with me 6 years, 6 plus years. I moved 6, 7 years ago. And so a lot of them are still with me. And a lot of them I see 2, 3 times a week. And then I'm really focused mostly on my Feelin Good Mama brand right now. And so I'm really working, I'm building out an academy. It's all about feeling good, from movement, thought processing, and creativity. I mentioned I'm also an artist. And so I really feel like finding
combined.
creativity, finding that outlet for being creative. We just don't take the time for things like that, and it's really important for our health and our well-being and how we look at life.
So do you incorporate things just to give people a full sensory experience? That's what it sounds like to me.
That's what I'm working toward in my classes. I think it's
Mhm.
been a little hard with my personal training clients because you get into a routine. They know that part of me, and they like that part. We introduce I'm always talking about all my hacks. They know that part. But as far as introducing more avenues for creativity and things like that, we haven't really gotten into that so much. I do talk about mindset a lot
Right.
with my people.
What are some of your hacks? What are some of your popular or more common hacks that's relatable to anyone listening?
I think a lot of my hacks are like movement related. I'm real big on feet, and I really like like almost all of my people wear toe socks because
Why?
uh, I love toe socks because they spread our feet. And when our feet are spread, we have a larger base of support. Shoes are so restrictive. So also a lot of my people, it's not something anyone should jump into being wearing no elevation shoes, like minimalist shoes. It's not
Okay.
something that people should just jump right into. It's a process to
Okay.
kind of uh to kind of acclimate your feet so that you
Okay.
are not more prone to injury. So I'm not going to tell everybody go out and get your minimalist shoes today. There is a great book. Oh gosh, Full Body Barefoot by oh gosh, why is her
Ooh, it
Full Body?
sounds like something I'd be interested in.
Yes. Oh gosh, I have the book, like I know exactly where it is in my bedroom, but
So it's
will come
about,
her name will come to me in a minute. But anyway, a lot of foot stuff because a lot of our health is related to our feet and we don't realize that. But from a structural standpoint, confidence, our feet play a big role. But then
really?
also like all the little muscles in our feet help to they help to assist other muscles in our body that we
Okay.
don't realize that. And then I personally feel like when our feet are happy, we're happier.
Mhm.
I'd like to get more into like the hormone endorphin element of our feet because I really feel like there's something to that. I mean, just think about it. When you go, like, I try to go out to the beach daily, walk in the sand, or get out in my backyard and walk in the grass. It
Mhm.
feels good on your feet, and just that grounding, you almost immediately feel uplifted, you feel better. So there's some sort of, it's grounding, but I think it's a
Right.
sensory thing with our feet
It's
as well.
kinetic, kinetic.
Mhm.
Um, so what other hacks? Okay, so the feet are very important. That's why pedicures feel so darn good.
Do. Then you have to, like the way my brain works is, but then is the nail polish, what about the,
Okay, you gotta release something,
oh, I know,
Kelly.
that's what I'm talking about. That's the stuff that I had to, you know, I
Hmm.
that's the stuff that I had to be like, okay, I've got to live. Cause I would just go into a nail salon. I would smell all the chemicals and everything. And I would be like, oh gosh, I can't handle,
Well,
this.
yeah, when it's too much.
And, you
Um,
have like mani petty parties. And it's like, well, I don't want to be that girl that just refuses to take part because there are a lot of so
it
it's,
depends on your health status. If you're in
yeah.
a real compromised state, you might not want to put yourself in that situation. So, give us another hack of yours that you share with your clientele.
I think another one is a lot of visualization, especially when it comes to health. And I think this is something I don't understand why we're not taught this. I think it's more of a like a control thing that we're not taught about this more. But I feel like if we can do so much by visualizing our health, visualizing how we want to feel, visualizing how we're moving in the world. And if I have clients that tell me, oh, my back's hurting or whatever, I will say, let's do some visualization and visualize, get into that feeling in your head and then in your body of not having that pain. I can't I am not a physician, of course. I cannot say 100% it's going to cure you. I cannot be that person, but it's doing no harm to try. And I find in my body, I'm very in tune with my body. If I have something going on, a lot of times, if I can just get really still, get in a quiet place, and just focus and visualize on what it feels like to feel good. Sometimes that's
Mhm.
not possible, but I think that I think there's a lot of power in that.
Great. Well, Kelly, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, I'm going to ask you a question about a scenario and how you would tell a person to
Mhm.
visualize their solution. So we'll be back in a minute. Thank you.
Okay.
And we also get access to masterminds. We had Caroline Leaf speak this week
Oh, wow.
exclusively to us, just telling us about, just to explain about how the mind works, the mind, brain, body, soul. And it was just amazing because we had Caroline Leaf to ourselves for an hour. And it was just amazing. We've had some amazing guests on. Every month we get like a new guest.
And we don't have a special chute that chemicals leave our body. So they get lodged in our organs, in our fat tissues, in our connective tissue. And when people think that they're doing all the right things, but they're still sad or they're still having erratic emotions, anger, even, it's because of those kinds of things that we're not even making the connection. Welcome back, everybody. We're with Kelly Anderson today, and we're talking about different little hacks that we can incorporate in our day that helps make our day smoother. And Kelly, what I wanted to ask you is, let's say your client says, you know what, Kelly, I am tripping all the time. It's not like I'm tripping over a stone or whatever, but I'm like tripping over my own feet, and I don't know what's wrong with me. Am I out of balance? What do you think I could do to help stop being so clumsy?
Well, that is actually something that I work with daily with
Oh.
all of my people, because most of my people are 60 plus. So
Okay.
balance is actually a very big issue. So we, just like we were talking before about feet, we're working on feet a lot. We're working on ankle mobility a
Mhm.
lot. And then, of course, we're doing like balancing exercises. And I'm also trying to put them purposefully in, we're very safe, but purposefully in kind of precarious positions so that the rest of their body is working hard a lot too. And you mentioned the visualization. I, a lot of my clients have a hard time with the visualization part. They just
Mhm.
were never introduced to that concept. But for someone who is open to that, and balance is a real issue. I
Mhm.
Like I said before, I do believe that visualization could be huge in helping someone if they're having a lot of tripping issues and all, to just take time every day to focus on what it would feel like in their body to be agile, to have very good control. Even with the Olympics, I love the mindset part of the Olympics. And
Mhm.
so many of those athletes would say they spend more time just thinking. And you could actually watch, like I was watching the divers. They would sit and they would just visualize in their head over and over. And I just think that we can do a lot of practicing for life in our head. And
Yes.
I do it all the time.
Me
Uh,
too.
and
Me too.
it's actually, I think it's a very fun. Um, I enjoy it a lot. I actually set a lot of time out of my day just for visualizing what I'm trying to create in life, how I want to move, how I want to feel. I spend a lot of time working on that.
So, this is what I'm hearing with this whole biohacking. Biohacking doesn't mean that you're like using these futuristic um, pieces of equipment or technology. You are just tapping into the very basic foundational things that I think we were born with, and you're really tapping into it to use it to your advantage to navigate life a lot easier. Does that make sense? Like the whole balance thing. I know my dad's 97, and I know balance is a big thing for him. Like he gets scared if he thinks that if he fell, he wouldn't be able to brace himself. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The foot thing, the visualization thing, I do all the time. And I think they teach actors to do this, speakers. Like, imagine yourself on stage, imagine your audience, imagine doing it this way, imagine it doing it that way, so that by the time you get to the actual thing, your body's like, oh, we've done this 1,000 times. So
Mhm.
it makes it that thing much easier. So for me, from all the things I'm hearing, these are the hacks. These are the biohacks. You're hacking into your biology. Does that sound accurate? Because I think people think biohacking is like Elon Musk. You know what I mean? And you're just taking it really seriously at a very basic foundational level. Does that make sense? Does that sound
Oh,
right?
most definitely. I think there are actually two different philosophies within the biohacker world. There
Mhm.
is that world of like the nodes and and I'm not saying that
The
there's any
helmets and
that
the
is right. Exactly. There's when I had my podcast going, people were constantly contacting me and saying, "Can I send you some contraption to try?" Me personally, one of the things is I don't want a lot of electronics around me, even though I do have my phone and my computer around me a lot.
me
I
too.
actually, as a biohacker, I think it's better to be away from all that stuff as much as possible. And there's so much electronic stuff going
Yeah.
on that does not resonate with me at all. I'm a naturalist. I'm a nature girl. And like we said before, Indians, I look back to like indigenous civilizations, the Indian heritage and traditions. I look to those to see how did they do things naturally.
Me too.
I'm just a nature girl, and um, yeah,
I won't even wear a watch, let alone a Fitbit. I just
yeah,
don't want something electronic, perhaps altering my own electrical system, you
right.
know?
To have my time at, well, this is a regular watch that I have for this, but I have a Timex just because I'm constantly using a timer for my people. But
Oh,
I've never had a Fitbit or an iPhone, and I have no desire for any of that. None, none.
we have about 9 minutes left, and I want to address the book you wrote with your daughter and how that's shaped her wellness journey. And how old is she? And what's the name of the book?
So the book I actually have right here, I always keep it with me. It's called Violet and the Voices. So this is our character. I started so I lost my husband in 2016. And at that time, leading up to that, we were in a really bad spot. And so I actually started doodling this little girl, and I would just draw her. Let's see, get my camera right. Here we go. So I would just draw her. I call her my voice of reason. She just gave me a lot
Super
of peace and clarity. And so I started posting her on Facebook, and she started to gain a following, and then people started requesting a book. So 2 years ago, my daughter and we just said, well, let's just do this. So she ended up writing the book, and I illustrated the book. It's a wonderful message. I have so many adults who tell me that everyone, not just kids, but everyone should read this book. So basically, it's a lot of back to what we just talked about. It's how she battles the negative voices in her head. And
good.
it's all the different things that she does to try to battle these voices. And then in the end, she finally comes up with a very big solution. So you have to actually get the book to find the solution. But my daughter wrote the book. She's already, we have plans to do 7 in
Oh,
this series, and she's already written the second one. And I will say, we self-published this book. It was like having a second child. It was so much work. We actually, October 20th will be the 1-year anniversary of releasing this book. And
wow.
I've needed every bit of that to recover.
So does the book have a website or just get it on Amazon? Violet and the Voices,
It's
Kelly
Violet.
Anderson.
So her full name is Violet Oleander Rose. So
Oh,
you
no.
can go to violetoleanderrose.com. Violet and the Voices it's on Amazon, paperback and hardback. You can get it through our website as well. And then my daughter also has a Violet Club, and that's her thing. She puts
How
it
old
out.
is she?
She's now 13.
Okay.
Yep. But she has
Um,
a lot of fun with that.
so if someone wants to work with you, do you only do fitness or do you do any kind of coaching? Do you do anything with the book, like help other young writers? What if someone is interested in getting in contact with you? Where can we find you and what could they expect?
So I teach 3 Zoom workout classes a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is a full hour class. The first 30 minutes is mostly weights, cardio, and agility. And then the next 30 minutes is Pilates, stretching, and balance. So we really, in that hour, we go over, it's a good full body, everything the body needs. And
Okay.
so I have a membership. It's a monthly membership, and with that membership, you have access to those classes, those Zoom classes. And then, like I said, I'm working on building out an academy. Through my membership, you would have a discount on any of the courses in my academy. And then I will do one-on-one coaching as well. And with the one-on-one coaching, it's mostly confidence, and it's confidence through movement,
Okay.
mindset, and creativity. And we certainly include the biohacking and all the health stuff in that, because I feel like you have to have that to be confident. And so, yes.
All right, cool. So if they want to contact you, what is the best way? Is it through social media, email, phone number? What do you feel comfortable sharing?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on X. So you can. I have the Feelin Good Mama on most. You can look me up, Kelly Anderson, also, and then we have a website, thefeelingoodmama.com. It's
Okay.
Make sure it's FEELIN because I'm from the South,
Okay.
so it's the feelin'. It's not feeling. The Feelin
Okay.
Good Mama. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
The laid back feeling kind of word.
right.
Well, that's great because I think everybody, deep down wants to feel good all the time, and not because it's just a wish and a dream, but I don't know about you, but I, for the most part, feel good all the time. And I like to give people like you the tool set, mindset, and the skill set to get there. And
Mhm.
there's so many different ways to do it. There's plenty of us to go around, right? In
Yes.
any case, Kelly, we're done for today. It went so fast. Thanks for sharing your life hacks, which are really foundational wellness tools. And that's it for another episode of Taking Healthy Back with Maria. And you know where to find me, all the social media, same handle, YouTube, IG, Facebook. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much, Maria.
This has been Taking Healthy Back with your host, Maria. Tune in each week as Maria will empower you to put your wellness in your control right here, Fridays, noon Eastern, on the Bold Brave TV network.